Alright, what's going on, everybody? It's Sam from Leavitt. In this video, we're doing my card predictions for UFC Fight Night 206, Muhammad versus Luque, or Luque versus Muhammad. As always, I'll start off talking about all the picks and the bets, then I'm going to break down especially those that I'm betting, right? And the ending, I'll show you guys the Patreon if you wish to support the channel and maximize your profit. Sticking to the end, I'll show you how. So, as some of you guys have requested in the past, here is the previous results. So UFC 273 was a great card for me. I made very good profit, over 10 units in only one event, which is 60% of what I bet, right? The biggest bet was on Audio. I also bet Audio by decision. I also bet Mackenzie Dern by decision, fight go the distance on Audio versus Jan, and also on go the distance on Dern and Torres. This is not accounting this part. I'm just accounting what I show in here, right? So you guys can check it out if you want in the previous video. And if you wish to hear again everything that I'm doing, this is on Patreon. I'm gonna show you guys at the endings some posts that I did on this card, just to show you. Okay, so let's get into this card between Sabatini and TJ Laramie. I'm picking Sabatini, not betting. Eliseu Zaleski versus Muni Lazez. I'm picking betting Zaleski, small bet. Mayra Bueno Silva versus Uyanan. I'm picking Bueno Silva, not betting. Omar Gadiev versus Kyle Buhalho. I'm picking Omar Gadiev, not betting. Drakkar Klose and Brandon Jenkins, picking betting Klose. Martin Buday versus Chris Barnett, picking Buday but not betting. Latam Hailey versus Kevin Kroom. I'm picking Hailey but betting Kroom. Stick until I'm gonna break this down why I'm picking one guy and betting the other. Pannie Kianzad versus Lina Lansberg. Again, picking Kianzad but betting Lansberg. Trey Ogden versus Jordan Leavitt. I'm picking Ogden but not betting. Vicente Luque versus Belal Muhammad. I'm picking Luque. Probably gonna be betting Muhammad on the decision. Miguel Beza versus André Fialho. I'm picking and betting Beza. Alright, so let's hear why. So like I told you guys, I'm gonna be mostly focused on those that I'm betting. And if you wish to access to this presentation, this analysis is also part of the Patreon $10 tier, and then this I also have the written comment here for those that want to have a consolidated and more summarized analysis. All right, so between Ogden Hailey and Kevin Kroom, guys, this is basically Hailey as a high-level wrestler, right? I think he's one of the best wrestlers in China. I think some of the commentators in the UFC said he's actually a very good wrestler. The guy can take it to the ground basically anywhere he wants, anytime he wants, especially against Kevin Kroom. The problem of Hailey is that he doesn't have much control. He's not the best BJJ player. Also, ground and pound is fine, control is fine, but nothing outstanding. He's more like a guy that takes you down and scores a point, and basically that's his experience. But still, he has come up a little bit, obviously, with the grappling and the striking. He packs some power, quite compact and fairly strong guy for the division, even though he's not the biggest. But he's fighting Kevin Kroom here with a very tall and very long bantamweight. Kevin Kroom showed good striking his last bout. I think he's trying to apply a more effective style using that massive range, good straight shots, like popping up the jab all the time, controlling range. The problem with Kroom is when he starts having to grapple, then he starts struggling. He's definitely going to have to grapple here against Hailey. And this is the question, guys. Can Kevin Kroom stuff the takedowns? I think going to be difficult. Can he get back up and not get faced by that and keep implementing his game plan? From the past, from previous fights, he seems to be on the way, to accomplish that, but still not there. But again, Hailey is not the best fighter, more like both of these guys fairly on the dimensional. Kroom, let's say, a striker, good on the feet, whereas Hailey good taking guys down, but not much besides that. So basically, this is close to a pick 'em, guys. I think Hailey has more chances to dominate from top, controlling, etc. But again, Kroom under a good camp in glory, hopefully he comes ready. And at plus 155, to me, it's definitely dog or pass. I'm taking a small shot at Kroom here. Let's see how this goes. I also think Kroom has a little bit more chance for the finish. Hailey packs power. He could, land something big on the feet and then finish Kroom, maybe even with an arm triangle or even by strikes. But I think Kroom has a little bit more chance for for the finish as well. Between him and Hailey, if I have someone to pick someone to finish the other, I think Kroom has a little bit more chance. Hailey doesn't have the best chin, etc. So I think basically pick your side. I think Hailey is the safest pick by decision, but in terms of a bet at plus 155, I'm going to be going with Kroom, right? Drakkar Klose versus Barnett Jenkins, another one I'm betting. This one pretty confident on Klose. Basically, Jenkins is a good fighter. Nothing against the guy, but I think he's probably one of those guys that comes out and gets a shot in the UFC, but it's going to be difficult to perform, especially against Klose. Klose is a guy that is a tenacious guy. Comes forward, packs power. He has a good clinch game. And the Jenkins, he lacks a little bit of physical strength, at least compared to those guys. Right? Also, he can get taken down. He's basically a striker. Jenkins likes to throw some fancy stuff like spinning things, jumping kicks. He's dangerous that times very well, but besides that, I don't see much. I think Jenkins also is not as tough as Klose. Jenkins can be hurt to the body. He can be knocked out. So I think that's basically what's going to happen here. Klose is going to probably push this hard and just at some point finish Jenkins, probably round 2. But yeah, I think it's a tough one for Jenkins, so quite strong pick here on Klose. I'm not probably him. Trey Ogden versus Jordan Leavitt. Not betting this one, just real quick. Ogden, I don't have much footage to analyze. Seems to me a guy that's fairly well-rounded, can do a bit of everything. He also won under Glory, but it's not. I think it's not the same. It's the same Glory MMA Fitness, but I don't think it's the same. It's the same as where we find James Cross and all these people. You can correct me if I'm wrong here if you know this one, but I think it's another branch of Glory, something like that. So I mean, Ogden a little bit quite good everywhere, but nothing outstanding. Not the most entertaining guy on a fight. Not the most athletic, most powerful guy, right? Neither I can say the same thing about Leavitt. Not the strongest, biggest, most athletic. Leavitt very limited on the feet. The guy is basically a pure BJJ guy, pure grappler. Jordan Leavitt doesn't have much wrestling either. The striking is really, clumsy. Man, I think Ogden has more chances just because he's probably going to be able to, sorry I didn't fix this one. I was copying from the previous one. Probably Ogden going to be able to keep it standing because Leavitt is not a good wrestler. But if Ogden, for some reason, wants to play it on the ground, he's going to risk and probably going to get submitted. Right, because Ogden has mistakes and some flaws on the ground. He's not a bad grappler, Ogden, but Leavitt's a little bit better. But I think Ogden will try to keep it standing. If he does, I think he can definitely win on the feet. But again, to me, it's tough to tell because I don't have much footage there. Okay, so since I'm gonna pass on this one probably, then I'm not gonna talk much more here. Maybe Ogden by decision. It's not a bad play, or Leavitt by submission, also not bad play, or even Leavitt by decision, right? If you know Ogden, if you know that he can defend the submissions, Leavitt could, win the scrambles and get the decision too, right? Definitely not Leavitt by knockout or Ogden by submission, though. Rafa Garcia versus Ronson, another tough one. I think I'm a back and forth here too. I think Garcia has a little bit more chances just because he tries to take it to the ground. He's a little bit more aggressive, right? Ronson, he starts off well in his fights. He comes off in the front foot. He starts pushing guys back. You see that he has good experience striking. But then after, when he starts having to fight on the back foot or having to defend takedowns, he starts struggling. Then he cannot get back to the feet, depending on the grappler, but cannot get back to the fight. I mean, I'm back and forth here, like I told you guys. Garcia is also not the best fighter. I mean, he's a good fighter, but in the UFC, he didn't perform. Prior to the UFC, the man looked like wicked in there, going forward, swinging for the bleachers. I thought he had an excellent cardio, but then we saw that, I just forgot the name of the guy there, that, he faded, and then against Nathan Levi, he was also not impressive. So if you're picking Ronson here, I don't blame you. But to me, I'm going to be passing on this one. I'm picking Garcia again just because I think he has more chances to take the front foot. And then I don't trust much Ronson either to keep coming forward and keep defending and getting back on the fight after not having his way in one round or the other. right? I think Garcia gonna keep pushing a little bit more tenacious and more hard. Plus, he's younger, right? Garcia is 6 years younger, something like that. That's a good advantage too. So blending everything together, I think Garcia, basically the odds are right in my opinion, and Garcia by decisions my pick. Mayra Bueno Silva versus Wu Yanan. This is not a difficult one to break down. Wu Yanan, she's yet to develop her style in the cage, nowadays she fights more like she gets in there, she tries to figure out what's going on. She's not a bad striker, but she tends to wait, right, trying to find a counter shot, right? If you take her down, she tries to go for submissions, but she doesn't have much of a structure to her game. Bueno Silva is more like an aggressive fighter, plodding style, keeps coming forward, hits hard, right? Not bad submission skills as well. Not easy to take down. She's athletic. She's powerful, like I said. So I think Bueno Silva is a strong favorite here too. But I don't trust much her. I don't know. I think just because of the experience, right? She doesn't have as many fights. Yanan is more experienced, but not the highest level experience either. Maybe Yanan by decision, but has to be something like plus 400, plus 500, something like this, in my opinion. So probably that's what I'm gonna do. Either bet that or fight go the distance, right? Because I think Bueno Silva can finish her, but not likely. And I don't think Yanan can finish Bueno Silva. Maybe by submission, but don't see much. Right? Very little chance. So yeah, fight go the distance here. Silva the decision to pick, but maybe betting Yanan as a big underdog by decision. Maybe that's what I'm gonna do here. Pannie Kianzad versus Lansberg. It's another interesting one. I'm surprised by the odds a little bit. Kianzad, good boxing, good clinch game, good from the top. On the defensive part, she's also not bad. She's come up quite a bit, right? She has good takedown defense, not easy to fall down. So she's a quite solid fighter. Lansberg, she has the same skills as Kianzad in terms of the clinch, right? And the grappling, let's put it this way. None of them are the best BJJ players. Are more like MMA grapplers that tends to use more ground and pound, and from the bottom they try to escape. I think actually Kianzad grapples a little bit better than Lansberg, but if Lansberg takes the top position, I think she can definitely stay there. So the question is here, who will take the top position? I think Lansberg, she will definitely go for the clinch, guys. Makes no mistake about it. She's not gonna box Kianzad. She's gonna fake, some shots, some strikes, and then get to the clinch. And then it's gonna be a clinch battle, as we see all the time on Lansberg's fight, the boring fight, if you will. Kianzad, she wouldn't back down from the clinch either, right? She has to fight Lansberg there. We saw that Kianzad, she does very well on the clinch too against Pennington. I think Kianzad has a little bit more chance because at this point, maybe she being like almost 10 years younger, she's probably gonna come with a better shape, Lansberg, I think she's probably, if they would be the same age, I think Lansberg would be a little bit stronger, but at this point, maybe Kianzad's a little bit stronger still. But I don't know, man. Lansberg, she will bring it, and you never know at the end of the day, right? I think Lansberg, she also has such a massive experience list in that clinch position. At these odds, I think it makes sense to bet Lina. I'm going to try to put a very small bet on her, maybe Lina also by decision. Just because I know that she'll bring it, and Kianzad, we're going to have to fight her on the clinch. I think Kianzad will do more damage, probably will win. Maybe something like 29-28 for Kianzad. But never know, split decision for Lina, right? Depending on what she can do. Maybe she can trip Kianzad makes a wrong move, ends up on the bottom type of thing, So, yeah, I think definitely Dogger Pass at plus 300, something like this. I think has to be on Lina. If you like Pannie, I think by decision, right? But if you're parlaying her, I think she's a strong pick, but I don't know, man. I think the odds are not fair to Lina here, basically. Martin Buday and Chris Barnett. I mean, Buday likes to move forward. Don't have much footage here, and it's his debut, but he moves forward. It reminds me a little bit of Ben Rothwell. I think he's not this... he's a pretty big one too, right? So it reminds me very much of Ben Rothwell, which Chris Barnett lost to. But again, it's not the same fighter, it's just the same style. Buday comes forward, plodding style, keeps on the guy's face and keeps throwing in short range. But Barnett has way more experience here. Buday doesn't have as near as experience. I think he has 7-8 fights, something like that. Barnett has nearly 25 fights, something like this, He's not the most exciting fighter, but he's not a bad one, If you look at him, you don't give him much hope. But he times pretty well the overhands, the spinning, the kicks, the guy can even spin, being a heavyweight, quite short one, but he's fairly athletic despite the looks, right? He also quite experienced. So I don't know, man. I think Buday could come off, to be honest. I think it's his debut, he's not that experienced, even though he's 30-year-old, so he's not that young either. So I think if he has the life experience to come with the right mindset, let's put it this way, but it's not sure, depends very much on the person. Barnett won his last bout, couple fights in the UFC, more experienced. So I think Buday is the pick here. I think he has more consistent style, naturally the bigger man. But I think if you're gonna force me to bet, I would bet Barnett at the current odds plus 180. And the Barnett by decision might be interesting too, because Buday seems to be tough. I don't think it's gonna be easy to finish, right? But as of now, I'm just gonna pass on this one, okay? Eliseu Zaleski and Munir Lazzez. This is an interesting one. I think the odds are quite correct here. I'm gonna be betting Zaleski. The reason is I think on the feet is quite even. I think people are probably overrating Lazzez a little bit. He's definitely an excellent striker. We saw what he can do against Al Hassan there, Muhammad Al Hassan, what's his name again? Yeah, Al Hassan there, the African guy. So yeah, Lazzez, good striking, like good defense, tall, long, dangerous with the knees, right? He has good balance, not easy to take down. But Zaleski is not far behind in the striking, different style. He doesn't throw that much volume, he's more like a guy that's trying to set it up. Zaleski, but he mixes well with the calf kicks. Then he can also use his wrestling. He also gets inside, throwing, moving his head, throwing jabs, and mixing in kicks, right? I think Zaleski has a little bit more chances here. I also don't trust too much Lazzez, chin. Not that Zaleski is the biggest puncher, but Zaleski is tricky with spinning stuff, his flying knee stuff, Lazzez is tall, right? But we saw Zaleski landing a spinning back kick on Sean Strickland. It probably was the biggest win of his career, right? And Strickland as welterweight was a giant guy. Zaleski found a shot there too, same height as Lazzez. So Zaleski has potential. He doesn't look impressive, but he's one of those guys that has so much experience in it. And he executes well in the details, he's technical everywhere, as I said. So I think Zaleski probably gonna find his way, push Lazzez a little bit back, make it interesting on the feet, and then taking it to the ground. I don't think Lazzez is gonna be able to escape all the time. He's probably gonna escape in the beginning, but since in the feet is competitive, he's gonna have to worry about the takedowns, trying to get taken down again probably. So I think Zaleski by decision here. I'm parlaying him a little bit, okay? Gadzhimurz Magadziev and Caio Borralho. Man, this is a high-level fight. I'm very excited for this one. I think probably this is the best fight besides the main event. I mean, Gaji is a high-level sambo wrestler, right? The man is quite dangerous on the feet as well, not afraid to swing. And the sambo wrestling is there, the high-level wrestling, the control. Plus, he's got submissions, dangerous with the arm triangle. If you haven't watched his fights in the Contender Series, watch it. But that knee bar was nasty. It's even hard to watch when he finished it. So the man has skills, right? And he's fighting Borralho, which I can say great things about, but in different style. Borralho, very dynamic on the feet, hopping all the time, hit and running, creative with the flying stuff, accurate, good straight shots, big guy for the division. Borralho hits hard, good BJJ, good judo base, Borralho. So man, this is a high-level fight, like I'm saying. I think Omar Gadzhiev has a little bit more chance just because I think he's going to be able to take this to the ground because of that high-level sambo. I think he's going to control the position, but Borralho, the man going to come ready, 100% he's going to come for war. Yeah, I think he's more fast, he's stronger, he's more athletic. So if you're picking Borralho, don't blame you. I just think Gaji by decision has a little bit more chance in this overall because Borralho also has more chance for the finish. So that's basically how I'm going here, but I'm not confident to bet here because I really think Boralho can win this one, right? So it's a tough one to pick and to bet in my opinion. Bet Sabatini and TJ Laramie. It's a little bit easier to pick in my opinion, right? Sabatini, he likes the grappling, right? He's trying to come up with the striking. Still far a little bit behind, but Laramie, in my opinion, not the best striker either, you know. Laramie is well-rounded, but he didn't blend things together well yet, as of now. Decent wrestler, decent grappler, but nothing outstanding, in my opinion. I think Sabatini gonna go physical on this one. He's stronger, he's bigger. I think Laramie gonna get taken down. You're gonna see Sabatini submitting him. Laramie to win here, gonna have to stuff, keep it standing, but not gonna be easy because Sabatini, he's not experienced in the striking, but I think he can swing, and I'm curious to see. I think Sabatini, you know, Beck's nature of power, the man is like a fridge in there, you know, very powerful core, right? Laramie, he's a featherweight, but I think he's undersized. He has, you know, he doesn't have the broadest shoulder, not the biggest frame, neither the. No, he's quite short and he has short limbs, so I think Laramie probably will have to drop to bantamweight at some point, right? So I think Sabatini also has the size here. So Pat is a strong pick in my opinion, but too much in my opinion to bet him at plus 400, minus 500, minus 400. So I think I'm just gonna pass here and see how this goes. The fight has been cancelled. Stella Nunes versus Sam Hughes. Actually, this is in the prelims. It's out of order here. It's an interesting one, guys. I think, Hughes, she's going to probably have to grapple here. She's going to have to grapple to win. Nunes is so sharp on the feet, but she's no slouch defending takedowns and getting back up. I mean, I think Sam Hughes has a chance for the decision, but I don't know, man. When I was watching the tape, I think Nunes is going to come, you know, sharp, and I think she's going to pick Sam Hughes apart here. She hits hard, you know, she's athletic, she's lean, she's fit, you know, excellent cardio. Hughes also has good cardio. But I think Hughes, she doesn't take as many risks, you know. I don't know if I'm stating that correct, that's in my head, right? But I think, maybe what I'm saying, because Hughes, she'll try to wait for the right time to clinch something like this. And if you're fighting Stella Nunes, you're going to have to force her to grapple something like that, right? Like Rani Carnelossi did. Carnelossi was trying to come forward, she was getting hit, but she didn't stop, right? I think Hughes is gonna try to come forward, she's gonna start getting hit, and I don't think she'll like, and she's probably will, you know, stay on the outside of avoiding getting knocked out and lose a decision, right? That's what I think is gonna happen here. So I'm gonna go Stella Nunes by decision here, guys. And I'm probably gonna pass, but Hughes by decision, there's value in case Nunes comes a little bit off or Hughes gets able to take to the clinch and you know, control this fight. So either Nunes, either pass or Hughes by decision, but I think Nunes actually probably gonna dominate this fight, and this is probably obviously wrong. I didn't copy and didn't fix this one. Miguel Beza versus André Fialho. It's another interesting one. Fialho looked good in his fight against Michel Pereira. Moving forward, that's his style. He puts pressure on, right? More of a MMA fighter using a kickboxing style, but can use a little bit of a clinch and grappling, but not much his thing. He likes actually to put pressure on guys. Sorry, there's some dog barking here, guys. And Miguel Beza. Beza is more like a striker, but I think he mixes well the takedowns better. Right, he also hits a little bit harder. I think he's a little bit tougher than Fialho. Can get hit more often without falling, right? So, I mean, I think Fialho gonna probably try to come aggressive here. I think Beza gonna find some heavier shots, gonna take it to the ground, right? And I think Fialho, he doesn't have the best chin in the world, so probably we'll see Beza winning this one, just because he's a little bit tougher, and I think he has more chance to take it to the ground. I'm going to be parlaying Beza a little bit here, but Fialho by decision also not a bad idea, because he brings the pressure, right? I think Beza has been knocked out before too, but I don't see much chance of a finish for Fialho. Not impossible, but not much chances. I think Beza has more chance for the finish. So if you like Fialho by decision, as an underdog, not a bad idea, definitely. But I think I'm going to be just playing basic here because I think he can find the finish. And on the main event, Vicente Luque versus Belal Muhammad. This also, the guys fought before. I think gonna pretty much be quite. Let's see if it's gonna be a replay. It's gonna be a replay in terms of the outlooks of the fight. Maybe not a replay in terms of the outcome. Luque gonna come forward, gonna try to put Muhammad out. He's way more dangerous, you know. He hits hard, and Muhammad will shoot. Luque will go for submission, especially those anacondas and Tars chokes, you know. And but Muhammad, he will try to do what he does, you know, like avoid the biggest shots, get the front foot, out wrestle, control guys, right? He has a chance. Luque, I think Luque doesn't have the best takedown defense. At least he didn't. It has been a long time. We haven't seen him having to defend takedown, so I cannot affirm that. But I think still Muhammad potentially could out wrestle Luque here, right? If Luque doesn't find the finish, then Muhammad has probably a chance by decision, right? But Luque, you know, the man has a heart of a warrior. He's gonna keep pushing. Hits hard, like I said, dangerous the submission. So I'm gonna go look inside of the distance, right? Could be submission, could be a knockout. I think there's a good chance for that. But probably I'm gonna also be playing Muhammad by decision, or maybe even only Muhammad by decision, depending how the props are. Right, but yeah, I think Luque will probably be able to finish Muhammad here again. Alright, so guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, subscribe, share with your friends. So real quick about the Patreon, like I told you guys, here are some thoughts on alright, so just to real quick finish this one. So these are some thoughts that I put exclusive on Patreon. Here are some I said about audio, I said about Dern here. Chimaev was not dominant as a start, but this was also great cashed. And the additional bets in here for UFC 273, the massive value on Sterling by decision. And yeah, I would bet Gastelum and also Torres and Dern by decision, right? Go the distance. So these are some things that you guys can catch on Patreon, plus support the channel. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, subscribe, share with your friend. I'll talk to you next time. So I'm from Trotter Bet, bring the best, most consistent and transparent betting strategy for you.